What's up? What's up?
Rocket.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, babe. Hi. How's everybody doing? Good to see you all. Have a seat. Hello, my friends at home. What's up? Do you know we have over 50,000 people watching around the world right now? Isn't that crazy? Absolutely nuts. So I'm excited to be able to spend 3 days with you, help you close out 2025, set you up for the best year ever, 2026. So I'm really, really excited about that. I know we have a lot of different countries here in this room. I was looking at the different field speakers that are going to be speaking. All of them are outside of the United States, every single one. Different countries. We have Switzerland, we have Italy, we have Dubai, we've got Dominican Republic, we've got France, we have Guadeloupe. Wow. Portugal, we have so many. How many of you are from outside the United States? Raise your hands. Look at the room. So traveling, coming over here, I'm glad you're here. We're going to have a great time, all right? So this is important. This is, I want you to kind of step into this weekend as maybe a defining moment. And I'm a big fan of defining moments, especially in business. We have a lot of these defining moments in our life, defining moments in my business. I want you, we'll talk about that in this first session, but look back at your career to this moment. How many defining moments have you had? You know, that there was a fork in the road. It was either a yes or a no. It was right or a left. It was saying yes to a meeting or no to a meeting that ended up being a defining moment. You just don't know where they are. But I'm going to talk a bit about some of the defining moments that have happened for me. I want you to think about defining moments that happened for you, okay? One, they're important to be able to recognize. Two, they're an excellent tool to teach, to be able to share those as you move forward in the future. So let me brag on network marketing first. How many of you are fans of this profession we call network marketing? Raise your hands. Yes, I'm a fan, you're a fan. Let's talk about numbers. Let's talk about numbers. There are approximately 100 million people participating around the world. 100 million participants, right? It's a lot of people. 100 million people saying, yes, I'm in network marketing. Collectively, they do approximately $200 billion in sales. All of these are approximates. I rounded these numbers. About 200 billion US dollars in revenue. You take the average commission payout, call it 40%, okay? They say it's 35 to 45 if you take a percentage of revenue. But if you call it 40%, that's 80 billion a year. Divide 80 billion by 365 days, that adds up to over $200 million every day. 200 million today, 200 million tomorrow. To somebody just like you. 200 million the next day. Every 5 days, $1 billion is being paid out to independent distributors working from themselves, mostly from home. Who has that? You look at all the benefits, right? All of the, I mean, it's so unique to be able to not just have income, but leveraged income. The ability to not have 100% of your income coming from you, which most small businesses, you are the business. How many of you have ever been in business for yourselves before, prior to network marketing or outside of network marketing? How many of you were the business? You're the business most of the time. Sometimes you get to leverage, a lot of times you don't. You pull you out. Most small business can't be sold. You know why? You can't sell yourself. The business without you doesn't have as much value, right? So being able to create leverage, being able to work towards time freedom, financial freedom, choices, options, all of these things that I love. Let me share with you some things that, like my favorite things about network marketing. And I'll have some of you think about some of yours and maybe put into the comments. Those of you watching from home, if you do upgrade to VIP, it's totally your choice. I wanted this to be available for every single one of your people on your team, so money was not an option. That's why we made the $3 thing. But I will tell you, if you want to really participate, we're going to have breakout sessions. We're going to put you into small groups. You can participate in the chat, put you up on the wall. Love to be able to interact with you. So if you feel like that's an option at any point during the weekend, great. Another thing, let me just say this now. Everybody watching, take a minute in the next 30 minutes and text 5 friends and say you should be here. Send them a link, GoPro2025.com, $3, anytime during this weekend. Even if they attended the last hour of the last day, it would be worth the $3. If I've got something going on Saturday afternoon, you still got the rest of the 3 days. So if everybody that's online right now gets one friend, we have 100,000. Everybody gets 2 friends, we have 200,000. No, 150,000. See, you don't even have to do math to be able to succeed with this. But let me tell you why I love network marketing. And it's a love-hate sometimes. The first thing that I love is the low price of entry. It makes it available. Like a $3 ticket to a GoPro event, network marketing is available to everybody. I mean, how much does it cost? What's the minimum it takes to join your business? How about you? What's the minimum? $150. What's your minimum? $34.95. What's your minimum? $23. I mean, come on. To be in business, what's your minimum? $0. Now, here's why it's a love-hate. When the price of entry is low, the price of exit is what? Low. It doesn't take much when the risk that you've put into the game is like lunch. So it's like, somebody hurt my feelings, or it was harder than I thought. I'm going to not do this anymore. I mean, it doesn't take much. On some days, I wish we charged $100,000 to participate with your same product and your same opportunity, and you had to get the $100,000 back. We're sending our son to college. It's about $80,000 a year, all in, right? $320,000, and we keep reminding him how lucky he is not to have student debt at the end of this equation, because most of his friends have a bunch of student debt that are going to be sitting over their neck for a long time. But price of entry versus, are you going to finish that degree? I hope so. Do you have some commitment in order, like most people who finish their college degree, now they got to go earn the money in order to be able to pay back the loan and then start their life. Same thing's true in a small business. A small business person, on average, here in the United States, it's around $50,000 US to start a traditional business. So, and where's that money come from? Friends, family, credit cards, debt in some form, their life savings. They risk their career. They jump off the cliff. They hope this idea works. Many times it doesn't, but they stick more than a network marketer sticks because, why? They got 50,000 reasons to work when it's not fun. They borrowed from all their friends and family. Now they got to go to Thanksgiving and hang out with friends and family, say, how's our investment doing? Well, not so easy. So low price of entry is a blessing, but we got to get clear in our heads that we have to teach people to make up in lack of investment. They have to make up in commitment. They don't have to invest $50,000 cash, but they have to invest 50,000 effort on average before they can have any expectation. So this is a little bit on us, and we're going to talk about that this morning. So low price of entry. Next thing that I'm grateful for is it's learnable. You can learn this. Some businesses you can't learn. I was listening last night to the NVIDIA CEO being interviewed by Joe Rogan. What a story. Oh my God. If you want to listen to a podcast, listen to that one. Unbelievable story. But could I learn how to be able to create superconductor AI chips? Probably not. But I can learn how to find people. I can learn how to talk to people. I can learn how to invite people to take a look at some third-party tool. I can learn how to get somebody to attend an event. I could learn, right? I can learn the fundamentals. And if I learn the fundamentals, guess what? And the thing that I was so grateful for, not only could I learn it, it would wait for me to learn it. It wouldn't kick me out. And if this was a job, if network marketing was a job, I'd have been fired like 15 times in my first 3 years. They just said, kid, this is not for you. You got to go find something else if it was a job. I'm grateful that it wasn't a job because it would wait for me. And it did. It just patiently sat there and waited for me to become what I needed to become, eventually to learn it. 3, it's flexible. People don't have to risk their whole lives. They don't have to risk their families. They don't have to borrow everything. They don't have to put themselves in debt. They don't have to walk away from their jobs. Single moms can participate, as you well know. People can find ways to be able to fit this into I don't care how busy your life is, there's a way for you to integrate a network marketing career into no matter how busy your life is. Matter of fact, the busiest people you know are your best prospects. You know who's not so good? People who have all the time in the world. You go talk to somebody who's got all the time in the world, they'll take forever to do anything. Get somebody who's super busy, juggling 20 balls in the air at the same time, and they start a network marketing business, guess what? Very quickly they can start building something. So it's flexible. 4th is it's fair. It's fair. Male, female, old, young, color of skin, background, experience, education, none of that stuff matters. The only thing that matters is can you produce? The company little computer system just calculates revenue. Did you produce? Pay them. They don't say, wait a minute, do they have a degree? We can't pay them. They don't have a degree. Sorry. Do they care about seniority? Oh, you've been involved longer. Nobody cares if somebody's been involved longer. You know how amazing that is for people? You know how many of you have ever been treated unfairly in the workplace? Raise your hands. How annoying is that? To have merit not matter. It's one of the worst feelings in the world. You can't get seniority on somebody who's been there 15 minutes longer than you. So when layoffs come, you're first in line, even if you're 3 times more valuable. What? How does that make sense? But network marketing is fair. There's so much support available, almost too much, from the company, from the field, in every direction. There's tools, there's events, there's training, there's systems, there's encouragement, there's a pat on the back, there's the hug, there's a kick in the pants. There's all kinds of support in so many directions. When you started your typical small business, how much support did you have? You were the support. There's nobody to talk to. Would your competitors give you any secrets? No. Why? Why would they do that? Here, people who are actually your competitors are open to it, let alone the people who have a vested interest. So when I say support is available, support is not a guarantee. So if any of you are annoyed that somebody else seems to have more support because their upline's amazing. My upline kind of disappeared pretty quick after I got involved, but support is available. Sometimes you have to go search. You got to go find it. Sometimes it's in your cross line. Sometimes it's observation of somebody else doing something on the other side of the world. Sometimes you got to get in the car or get on an airplane. You need to go get the information. You need to get a mentor. You need to get a coach. You need to have somebody help you in order to be able to, to access it all, but you can go get it. I learned how to earn my way into getting support instead of demanding it. At the beginning, I was very offended, right? When I was young, very offended. My upline, they're making all this money. I was calculating how much money they were making on me. Well, this month they made this much. They won't even return my phone call. So offended. Then I learned I could either be offended or I could build a business. And I can go get the secrets. They don't have to share them with me. Like Sam Walton really enjoyed the retail business. You know why? The guy who created Walmart. He could walk into any retail store and reverse engineer everything that was working. He could just walk through the store, walk every aisle. And there was a story about him and they walked through some grocery store, and he was looking for ideas for how to make his Walmart stores better. And the grocery store was a disaster, and his CEO or his COO was with him. They walked out, and he said, wow, that was a disaster. He says, yes, but did you see the cheese display? They nailed it. That little idea, I got it. That's all I needed from that store. The next one had a greeter. And he went, a greeter. Wow, you see like a Costco now? Or, the Walmarts now with the greeters? Where did that come from? An observation. So you can observe anything. And the great thing for me is nobody can stop you. You can go get the support. Okay, so that's number 5. Number 6, it's a leveraged opportunity. It's leveraged. Not just trading time for money. Leveraged opportunities are rare. You can drive Uber, but you can't build an army of people driving Uber and make money while they're driving and you're not. How many businesses can you really get leverage where you can pull yourself out at some point? Now, we do have a little bit of a problem. We tell people time freedom and financial freedom in the first 15 minutes. And that's not true. We all know that. We can't help ourselves. We still say it. Can you get to leverage is the question. Is it possible? You might not have a huge amount of leverage right now, this minute in your business. It still might be really driven by you, your personality, your decision, your drive, your leadership, your skills. You might not have a lot of other leaders in your organization, but you can develop them. That's what this weekend's going to be about, is you developing those leaders and creating more leverage. But in addition to these big 6, one of the things that I love about our business are the intangible things. Things that don't really go on a slide and most people wouldn't understand. Those of you who are watching at home, put into the chat anything that you love about network marketing. Just throw something that you love. But friendships, think about the friendships that you have here. Community, the money, friends. You know what I appreciate most? The growth. The growth. This business will force you. It will actually force you to become a better version of yourself. If you're going to survive here, you're going to have to get better. And the greatest benefit that happened for me was not the money, and it wasn't the skills, specific skills like how to sell or how to recruit. It wasn't that. The greatest benefit was I became something And this profession forced me to become. And another job wouldn't have. I'm so grateful that somebody didn't offer me a job where I could plug in and I had benefits and I had a salary and I had all this stuff. But they didn't demand anything from me. Just do my function. Because I'd have probably stayed comfortable in that function. But this business won't. And some days it's annoying because there's a reason why they call them growing pains. For you to grow, it's not going to be comfortable. And some days we're like, can I stop growing, please? This is a little too much growth. Thank you very much. I don't need any more growth right now. I'd like a little stability and peace. Sorry. You want to get to the next level? You got to conquer the next level. You got to win. You got to beat the boss of this level to get to the next level. And it'll keep doing it over and over and over and over and over and over. You get better. And I don't think there's a better business than the business that encourages the development of human beings. It encourages the development of people. That's the best. We get people to hang around long enough, they're going to become a better version for themselves. Not just with their business, with their family, with their health, with their finances, in so many areas of their life. So, now to defining moments. I'm a big fan. This, in the movie Tin Cup, he said, defining moments, this moment in your life where either you define the moment or the moment defines you. So I want to share you, and for some of you who've been watching what I've talked about for the last 16 years with Network Marketing Pro, and some of you before that, you might have heard some of these stories, but I'm going to give you some of the defining moments that happened in my network marketing journey that mattered for me, okay? And I'm going to encourage you to think about defining moments that mattered for you, and you only see them looking back. You don't see them in the moment. Sometimes you know, this is a big one. Many times you don't. Do I take that meeting or not? Do I make that call or not? Do I let this circumstance crush me or not? So think about them and collect them. Write them down, even if you don't have anything to use them with yet, because they'll be very valuable as you move forward. One of them happened for me actually before I joined network marketing. A few years before, I wanted to get involved. I was involved in like musical theater, if you can imagine. I grew up in the church, and my uncle was a pastor, my father was a pastor, my mom's here somewhere. Where are you, Mom? She's somewhere. Oh, there she is. She's in the back row waving. Hi, Mom. So, she'll probably remember this. At our church, there would be some singing of songs at the beginning, and then usually they'd pass the plate for donations, and while they passed the plate, somebody would come up and sing a song. They had a little band up on stage, piano player, musical director, all this stuff. So they picked me to sing a song. Okay, I'm ready. We picked the song. I practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced 100 times. Practiced, got it down, worked with the whole musical director. Everything's fine. So I want you to imagine there's 2,000 people in the church. Many of them family, friends. I've known them for my whole life. I walk out and I get to the microphone and I look up and my mind leaves my body completely. Has this ever happened to you? I'm just like, And the piano player starts, I can't remember a single word to the song. Nothing. He's playing the introduction, and I look over and he's nodding. Go anytime. Go ahead. I look back. I look at him. I'm like, do I start making sounds? This is what's going on in my mind. If I make sounds, maybe I'll remember the opening line of the song, and then I'll pick it up, and it'll be great. No, that's not going to be good. I wanted to burst into tears and just run off. That's what I wanted to do. I said, that's not going to be good. This is all happening in like 30 seconds. He's playing the intro again, nodding. So here's what I did. And I don't know what caused me to do it, but here's what I did. I said, excuse me, stop. Ladies and gentlemen, I've forgotten all the words to the song. I hope you enjoy the message. Everybody, have a great Sunday. And I walked off with a big smile on my face, and I got like a half standing ovation. Everybody was like, oh my God, that was unbelievable. Afterwards, people patting me on the back. That was the best no song ever. Unbelievable. You handled that so well. Right? I got way more encouragement than if I would have done okay singing a song. But here's what it planted in my head. If you put yourself in a potentially embarrassing situation, handle it. Just handle it. Don't treat yourself so seriously. You don't need to be grim. Just put a smile on your face. Everybody else can relate. Hey, guess what? I forgot everything. Have a great Sunday. Love you. And walk off with a smile on my face. And that set the stage to raise my risk tolerance in the future of potential embarrassment. Because if you want to succeed as a network marketing professional, you've got to get used to risk of embarrassment, risk of failure, risk of humiliation, risk of being judged, risk of people talking behind your back, risk of, and just manage it, handle it, deal with it, right? With a smile on your face. I learned. So it planted this little seed that served me over the course of my life. And I would encourage you to be more willing to put yourself in potentially humiliating situations and deal with it. Okay? So this was one defining moment. Happens when I was probably 19 years old or so. Fast forward. I'm working in real estate. This is my 18th job prior to getting involved in network marketing. I'm 23, just turned, or just about to turn 23. It's January of 1988, before some of you were born. I'm selling real estate in this little office, and my father had a partner. His name was John Joyce, and John was a mentor. John was a millionaire, and he'd taken a liking to me, and he was just always kind. He always believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And he came to my desk in January, and the year before I'd made some money in real estate, but I hadn't saved any money for taxes, and I was a little bit in debt at the end of the year. So I had a tax bill coming up, and I was worried, trying to sell the next house, whatever. And he said, hey, I think I have a way for us to make some extra money. My friend Charlie, who's he raised Arabian horses, another millionaire, he's got something he wants to show us. We're going to go over to his house. I'm like, okay. Get in the car, drive over to their house, and I watched the most ridiculous network marketing presentation you have ever seen on film. I wish I had a copy of it to show you. It would be like what Saturday Night Live would do if they were trying to make fun of it. Everybody on this video was homeless 60 days before, and they're now making $20,000 a month. The mansions, limousines, yachts, Rolls Royces, everywhere. And hokey and corny and cheesy. But everybody's making money. I'm like, I'm looking at these successful people like, are you guys serious? It's like, no thanks, not interested. And then they said, no problem, we're going to do it anyway. I'm like, oh, my dad, John, Charlie, they said, we're going to go do it. They're all successful. I'm broke. Maybe they see something I don't. Okay, fine. So I pull my dad aside. This is January 18th, 1988. Okay? $5,000 to join. That might as well been $5 million. No way. And I borrowed so much money from my parents, my mom and dad, so many times. Pulled my dad aside and said, Dad, one more time. What do you think? Maybe this could be my thing. You just never know. He took pity on me and said, okay, fine. Got to pay me back, though. Okay. So I made the decision to join. That was another defining moment, that decision. Do I do this or not? Am I going to say yes or going to say no? Now, for me, the defining moment, there was credible people in the room. If it was a bunch of kids, it was 100% no. But I was fortunate that I had credible people in the room that gave me I must be missing something. Another interesting thing happened that same day. I was walking out to the car about 20 feet in front of Charlie and John and my dad, and I heard John Joyce say to the other two, he said, you see that kid? That kid's going to do better than all of us combined. I heard it. So not only the day that I joined, don't do that to me. My guy. He's passed away, but amazing human. No more secrets. No more sliding photos up that I don't know are coming. Catch me by surprise. How many of you have somebody in your life that was like that? Anybody? Have somebody in your life that was like that, believed in you more than you believed in yourself? A coach that was tough on you, a teacher that believed in you, a friend, a mentor, a family friend? That was John. John was that for me outside of my family. I always had amazing support from my family, but John was that for me. So that day, 1, I decided to join. 2, I heard John say that kid's going to do good, and it made me want to make him not only proud, but right. I didn't want him to be wrong. I didn't want 90 days later to him say, gosh, I thought for sure the kid was going to do it, but he didn't. I'm disappointed. So I didn't want to let him down. So that was the day. And I think that there's the day things started. And you might have heard this story, but about 90 days in, this is another defining moment. I'm just walking through some of the big ones for me. There's a family friend. I went to a training. How many of you ever heard about calling your chicken list? Anybody ever heard the definition of a chicken list? Like, who are you nervous to call? Who are you scared to call? Who could you call, but you haven't called? Who's the most successful person you know? Who's a legend in your life or that you have access to some way? For me, that was a guy by the name of Wally Hilgenberg. He played middle linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings. He went to our church. He was a man's man, tough as nails, played 14 years in the NFL. I played a little bit in high school. He taught me how to play. And I just idolized the guy. And I was like, man, if Wally, my dad and my mom hadn't thought about calling him yet. So I'm like, well, I'm going to call him. And, who knows? If my hero joins, everybody, my whole business is going to change. I'll be hanging out in the Vikings locker room. This is going to be awesome. So I plan it all out. And any of you who've dated prior to texting, remember dialing 6 numbers and then hanging up? I could dial 6, no, I hang up. Dial another 6, no, hang up. So I had it all planned in my head. I was in this little real estate office. Yeah. And I waited till everybody left. I'm sitting at my little desk, and I'm going to call him. It's like 5:30 in the evening. He's probably home by now. I'm going to call him. I had it planned out in my head, what I was going to do. Like, somebody else would answer, for sure. Hello, Hilgenberg residence. I'm saying, hi, this is Eric Worre. Is Wally there? They'd say, yeah, sure, just a second. Wally. Clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clop. Just one moment. Here he is. Wally would get on the phone, say, hey, Eric, how are you? And then I had my little script. I was ready with my little script. None of that occurred. He picked up on the first ring. Ring, click, hello. My mind left my body again. I didn't know what to, I'm like, hi, this is Eric Worre. Yeah, what's going on? Network marketing, this product, my dad and John Joyce are involved. You'd be amazing, by the way. Great game Sunday. And he said, Eric, stop. I'm not interested. Nobody in my family will ever be interested. In 90 days, you will not be doing this. You'll be out of this business. Do not call me at home about business. Goodbye. Click. For me, you ever have one of those moments where gravity is extra? Mushed into the ground. I was face down on the table. Then I was face down on the floor. I could tell you what the carpet looked like. Gray, nappy carpet because my face was just mushed into it. I laid there for like 10 minutes, face down, feeling sorry for myself. It sucked so bad because I was going to see him on Sunday, and now he's going to avoid me. Why did he tell me I was going to fail? Why did he say that? This is a guy I idolize, right? So I laid there for like 10 minutes. And then I got mad. I got really mad. Who the heck does he think he is? Somebody believed in him. When he had a dream to play in the NFL, which was super improbable, somebody believed in him. He had a coach that pushed him. He had somebody in his corner. He had somebody that would support him. He knew how scary that was for me to get on that phone. He knew it took every ounce of courage in my whole body. And he still body slammed me. So I said, the heck with that. I got up. I'm a legal pad guy. There's like 15 of them around my office. I'm constantly writing on legal pads. I wrote his name at the top of my legal pad, underlined it twice, put a star on each side. I'll be damned if he's going to be right. No shot. And guess what? He was a driver for me like I can't even tell you. Because guess what? In my 90 days, I wanted to quit. A bunch of times. But every time I did, I looked at the name and I said, well, I can't do that. His pushing me in that negative way ended up being the reason why I'm standing here today. One of them. For real. Now, I don't think he was thinking that through. I think he really believed I was going to fail. I think he really didn't believe in the model. I think a whole bunch of things. But my drive to prove him wrong was way more powerful than my drive to prove John Joyce right. Maybe 10 times more. Because I wanted to stick it in his face. I really did. Just like stick it right in your face. And I got the opportunity. Like 5 years later, we're at a wedding. He knows and I know that I'm making more money than him. So satisfying. You don't need to say much. when you've won. You just like, you can be very gracious, but you can let it be known, you know? But you know, one thing I didn't know at the time, you never know what's going on in somebody's life. You never know what's going on, even in Big Shot's life. You just don't know what's going on. Here's what I didn't know. 9 months before I called him, he got involved in a network marketing company. And he built a huge team. And the company went out of business 3 months later. And it damaged his reputation. He wrote every single person that joined his team a check to pay them back for the product that they bought. Because back in those days, people joined for like $5,000, $3,000, $10,000. It wasn't $40. So he was a little burned by a company that went out of business. Didn't know that. Oh, okay. He was just talking about his experience. Fine. That was a defining moment for me. Like I told you, over my first 3.5 years, I wanted to quit so many times. One of the greatest things that ever happened for me, and I don't know if you have this for you, but I had what they call the gift of desperation. Every time I wanted to quit, if you can relate to having the gift of desperation, put a 1 in the chat if you're watching online. Put a 1 in the chat. I'd like to see it. You have that gift? How many people in the room here have ever had the gift of desperation? You got to make it work. Some of you have the gift of inspiration. Great, wonderful. Me? The greatest thing that ever happened to me, because every time I wanted to quit, and I wanted to quit probably, it crossed my mind about 3 times a year. Every 3 or 4 months. I'd compare myself to somebody, or one of my organizations would fall apart, or people would quit and blame me, or something would happen, right? I'd feel inadequate. Comparison was a real tough one. Watching other people who started after me go right past me in the compensation plan, they're up on stage at the company event, and I've been involved longer, and I still haven't figured this thing out. What the heck is wrong with me, right? The greatest gift I ever had is I didn't have anywhere to go. It was so great. I'm so grateful. It was like there was all these doors lined up. Door after door after door after door. And some of you have all these doors available to you. There's a bunch of ways you can make money. Bunch of ways you can take care of your family. You can be comfortable in any one of these doors. Mine were all locked. There's only one door that was open, network marketing, unless I wanted to go back to food service, waiting tables at Denny's. I could do that. That felt impossible. So one door was open, and it was the door that was meant to cause me to develop the most, and the other doors were closed over those 3.5 years. So then, fast forward just a little bit. I'm full-time, but struggling. Any of you have ever been full-time and struggling? Not making enough? Sucks. It's the worst. You have a pin. They gave you a pin at one of the conventions, right? Your people admire you, but you're not making enough to pay your bills. Or just barely. They expect you to pick up lunch every time you go to lunch because you're the upline. They expect you to be at every event, even if you don't have the dollars. So yeah, you got to do that, right? So I'm doing all that stuff, but I'm behind. And I was in a company where you needed 5 lines in order to be able to maximize the compensation plan. And I got the 5, and 2 of them fell apart. I mean, fell apart completely. I was able to sell and recruit, but duplication was a mystery for my first 3.5 years. The only duplication I had was the duplication I was doing. I was making it happen. And so it wasn't even really duplication, right? So bills are piling up, and my check it got damaged deeply by losing these two lines. And back then, we used to run ads in the local newspaper. And we'd run ads in the local newspaper, and people would call the help wanted ads, and we'd try to convert those into leads. What you would do on social media today, right? But back then, you'd run this ad. And I'd gone to a wedding in Nashville, Tennessee, and while I was there, I ran an ad. And in Minneapolis, where I lived, there's 50 people running an ad in the help wanted every single week for my company. So it was highly saturated. So you'd get 20, 30 calls a week. I ran an ad in Nashville. I got 400 calls. I was the only one. I was, okay, here's my idea. I'm going to pack up the little family. Got, one kid, married, one kid. And we're going to go to Nashville for 90 days. I'm going to leave my problems behind in Minneapolis. I'm going to go to Nashville, and I'm just going to rent an apartment, and I'm just going to run ads, and I'm going to build those 2 lines. And if I build those 2 lines back, then we're back, baby. Then everything's going to be great, right? So let's take the risk, jump off the cliff and grow wings. Let's go. I mean, so mind you, I'm already in financial trouble. And I've never, at that time, I was not good at managing drama in my personal life and business. I couldn't focus on both. So I decided to leave my problems in Minneapolis, go to Nashville. And I had this little condo, townhouse type thing in Minneapolis that had 7 floors. Every floor had 1 room. You walk in, you go downstairs to a walkout, upstairs to a living room, upstairs to a kitchen, over with a deck that overlooked a 1-car garage, and every bedroom's the rest of the way up. Okay, crazy little design. But we leave. I get in my mint green Pontiac 6000 with a trailer behind it, and I drive down to Nashville, Tennessee. We get the apartment, we run ads, and I go to work, right? And I forget everything. I don't forward the mail. So summer's over. I come back. And we drove back in 2 groups. My wife and her sister were driving back behind me because they were going to stop and see a friend. I was just going to drive back and bring the stuff back. I drive up to the house about 6 p.m. The sun's just starting to set. It's August, it's hot. And I go up to the front door and I realize there's something wrong because it's all dark. So what had happened is they turned the electricity off because I hadn't paid the bill. Inside the door, there was a stack of bills, red notices, orange notices, certified, notices that you need to fill out this postcard to get this certified letter, bank statements, all this stuff, big pile. But when I walked in, I got hit in the face like somebody had died in this house. So the electricity had been turned off for a month in August. And the refrigerator and the freezer were filled with food. And you could literally wipe your hand on the walls. It was on the walls. I don't know if you've ever smelled that smell. Oh. And I'm like, what am I going to do? So I call my brother and I said, will you come over? I got to clean this up before my family gets home. I'm not going to have a family. I don't even know if this is fixable. But he came over, and I want you to imagine there's a refrigerator right here, and there's a little deck, and on the other end of the deck we put the garage pails, and we could drop stuff over the ledge to get it out. And opening the freezer for the first time, filled with meat, dripping, the worst smell you've ever smelled in your life, and I'm carrying it across the deck, dropping it into the garbage pails, coming back and forth, and probably my 3rd or 4th trip, I had a moment. And the moment was, I am done. Today's the last day. I'm not going to be embarrassed like this ever again. I am finished. I was furious at me. So you know what I did? Just awful, everything. My brother's cursing under his breath, trying to help. I went back to the freezer. I opened it up. I stuck my head in. I went to lock the smell in. Because I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not. This is the last day that I'm going to play small. I'm done with my excuses. I'm done with my problems. I'm done blaming other people. I am done. Period. End of story. Remember this smell. Remember this moment. This is the day that's going to change everything. I don't know how I'm going to do it because I thought I was working hard and I thought I'd made a decision, but I hadn't really made a decision. And even that day, even though I drew a line in the sand, I didn't know what to do. Have you ever made a decision but you don't know what to do? That's a terrible thing. Like I want to run, but there's fog in every direction. Which way do I run? I don't know where to run. Am I making the right decision? Am I doing the right thing? I don't know. I think I'm doing the right thing. I'm tired of this, I'll tell you that much. I still have PTSD over mail. I don't even look at mail today. Even all these years later, I don't open bills. I can't tell you the last time I looked at one, last time I paid one. I don't even deal with it. Still. So, enough. I've had it. I'm not living like that. Okay? So, fast forward. One more big story that was a defining moment that led me to the life-changing day. I lived in Minneapolis. And if you've heard any of these stories, just let this be kind of an overarching theme for you, okay? There's a journey. Like, if you watch The Lord of the Rings, that journey for the main character going through to be able to get to, to finish the quest. This was my little quest inside of network marketing. All these little things added up. I built my whole business on a Tuesday night opportunity meeting in a hotel, like the Hyatt or, Hilton or Embassy Suites or something. Tuesday night, Thursday night, Saturday morning. Opportunity meeting followed by a training on Saturday. And this was my whole business model. I would bring somebody to Tuesday night. I was professional at sitting with them and saying, isn't this something? Isn't this amazing? Introducing them to other people, letting them hear the presentation from people more powerful than me. If they signed up, fantastic. And there was a guy who ran the town. His name was Mike Nelson. And Mike was sharp. He was cross-line, but he ran a tight ship. The meetings were 45 minutes. They were really sharp. Music was tight, just enough chairs in the room for the amount of people. Air conditioning was taken care of. People were nice. Had people doing testimonials for 30 to 60 seconds at the end. It was really tight. It was great. I could build a business with this. And he left town. He went from Minneapolis to Indiana to go build with a new team for 90 days. And the meetings fell apart. And this was my whole method of building my business. This was my whole rhythm. I was kind of famous for always having at least one person at every one of these opportunity presentations. Okay? Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And sometimes I'd have 3 or 4. Sometimes I'd have like 8. But most of the time it was 1 or 2. But every time. And that built my whole business. All right? The meetings fell apart when Mike left town. It started being run by a committee. And what used to take 45 minutes was now taking 2 hours. They set up 3 times as many chairs as there were people in the room, so everybody always felt awkward. The music in the room went away. Nobody was paying attention to air conditioning. It was too hot or it was too cold. The presentations were sloppy. People were mean at the registration desk. They forgot the name badges. The display started to look terrible. All this stuff. So I went to the committee and said, guys, can we tighten it up like Mike used to do it? Can we do that? Because my prospects don't want to come to 2 hours and they don't want to bring people. So my business is wrecked. And they're like, yeah, we'll think about it. We'll let you know. Oh. And then they canceled Thursday. They were going to do Tuesday and Saturday. And they were having discussions about maybe only doing Saturday. And they were having discussions about maybe twice a month. I could see it was going to go from 3 times a week to 2 times a week to 1 time a week to twice a month to once a month to done. Gone. Okay, prior to internet. Okay, this was our methodology to build a business. So I panicked. I didn't know what to do. So I decided, since they canceled Thursday, I was going to book a Thursday. I'll do it. I didn't have any money. So I went to the Embassy Suites, Minneapolis Embassy Suites, by the airport. Still there today. I went back to see the room. It was like, wow. I asked the catering manager, is there a meeting room? Yes. How many people will it hold? About 100. Can you show me? Show me the room. How much? For 10 days from now, 2 Thursdays from now. $200. I had like $218 in my bank account. Rent money. This was not extra money. I said, 200, huh? Yeah. Did it take a check? If you're, like a bit, you show me a business check, yes, but personal checks, no. Will you hold it? Yes. I went to the bank and got 10 $20 bills. Left myself with $18 in the bank account. I came back. I said, I'll take it. I remember handing the money over. My hands are shaking. And she's like, wow, this is a big thing. Yep. Hands shaking. Here, take it. I'll sign. And then I had to go do everything I was complaining about. So first, I had to learn how to do a presentation. I'd never done a presentation. I had to put the display together. I had to get name badges. I had to get markers. I had to get sign-in sheets. I had to make sure I made a music mix for pre-meeting music and post-meeting music. I had to get people who were going to help me with just enough chairs for people in the room, not too many. Somebody who's going to be taking care of air conditioning. And then my biggest problem was this. If I show up with 2 people like normal, it would be the most embarrassing thing ever. Me and 2 people in a room that holds 100 and I spent $200 for this? That can't happen. I went to the committee and said, hey, I want to do it Thursday. We said, we don't believe it's a good idea. We think it's too many meetings. We think people don't want to go to these meetings, so we're not going to support it. Lovely. So you know what I did? I called every single person I knew for 10 straight days. I made at least 200 phone calls every day while I was learning the presentation, while I was figuring out all the details, doing all this stuff. Every day, I called my family. If you love me, you'll be there. I called my friends. If you're my friend, you'll be there. I don't care if you join. I don't care if you buy. Your job is to sit there like it's my opening night and say, wow, isn't he something? That's my brother. Wow, isn't he something? That's my friend. That's your job. Show up, be on time, sit in the room, clap when I do something good, raise your hand when I raise my hand. That's your job. Then you can leave. Okay? So my very first meeting, I had about 50 people. My very first meeting of my life, okay? In my 20s, scared out of my mind. I'd prepared like crazy, but 200 phone calls a day. I had 50 people there. A lot of friends, a lot of family, a lot of prospects, very few on my group, in my team. And have you ever done an opportunity presentation live at a venue like that? Any of you ever done one? Old school, we'd circle the chairs up afterwards. Everybody'd take the chairs and they'd circle up with their guests, and they'd answer questions, and the presenters would walk around and they'd talk to everybody. My circle up was I had to do out in the hallway where they served breakfast at the Embassy Suites because there wasn't enough room. I had 18 people join my business that night at $5,000 each. $5,000. I think that month I made like $18,000. And I was like, I found my thing. I'm ready to go. I went back to the catering lady without my hands shaking the next time. I'll take it the next Thursday. I'll take the next Thursday. I'll take the next Thursday. And in about 3-4 weeks, the committee started coming over because my meetings were growing 50, 60, 80, 100. And they said, can we plug in? Yes, but I'm calling the shots. It's going to be tight. It's going to be 45 minutes. We're going to do it right. Right? Everybody's got to play nice. They said, okay. And then they said, do you want to take Tuesdays and Saturdays? I said, sure. No problem. That became my city. Right? Not that from ego. But I believe every city in the world has one person, really, for any company that is dominating in providing value to that city. I became that person. So here's what I got to tell you. Back to all of this. What would have happened if I wasn't in the room with powerful people when I was exposed to network marketing? I was so fortunate that I was. What would have happened if I would have burst into tears when I was on stage when I forgot the words to the song? And that became the thing in my brain to be terrified of getting up in front of people and being embarrassed. What would have happened? What would have happened if Wally Hilgenberg joined my team and went to work and I rested on his reputation? What if he was a lifetime builder? What would have happened if my electricity wasn't turned off? And pissed me off. Question my manhood, not being able to provide for my family. What would have happened if Mike Nelson never left town? If he would have stayed in Minneapolis running that town, I'd have been comfortable with my 1 or 2 people and have my little prestige of saying, wow, look at the kid. Isn't he consistent? He's such a good soldier. Michael leaving town was the best thing. It was necessary. Now, were there moments during my first 3.5 years where it was positive influencing me? But let me tell you something. Positive will have an impact. Negative has a bigger impact. For me, on the journey. So here's what I want you to think about as we open this up, because look, every one of you has a story. Every one of you has a story. You could tell me 10 defining moments if you really thought about it. When somebody told you were going to be nothing, when some ex minimized you, or some friend betrayed you or stabbed you in the back, or somebody quit and joined another company and told lies about you, or you built a team and you had to rebuild it over and over again. When am I going to get a break from rebuilding this team? I'm sick of it. I rebuilt my team 7 times in my first 3.5 years. 7. I'd build it up, it'd fall apart. Build it up, fall apart. Build it up, fall apart. Build it up, fall apart. All of you have this story. Are you using your life experience for you to be able to move forward or not, is my question. You know what the enemy of greatness is? What do you think? What's the enemy of greatness? Anybody? Put it in the chat. Doubt? Do you think that's the enemy of greatness? Complacency? Comfort, in my opinion. For so many of you, you know what's causing you not to do what you're capable of doing? Comfort. You're okay. You'll survive. You'll exist. It's fine. Your family's okay. You know what? You should just be grateful. Maybe I should just be grateful for what I have. Maybe I should stop striving for doing something more. Maybe I should listen to the people that tell me I should slow down. Maybe I should let the people who are trying to make me feel guilty for chasing my dream. Maybe I should listen to them. They care about me. Some of you are crawling compared to what you should be doing. Every one of you, in my opinion, you're here for a reason. I think you're a giant, my personal opinion. I think you're a giant. But some of you are playing like a mouse. Not judging, just encouraging. I wish for you less comfort. Some of you are like, man, that's a harsh wish. You ever see the movie Whiplash? Movie Whiplash, the drumming instructor. Tough band instructor, high-end school, throws a chair at the drummer's head. You're going fast, you're going slow. You're going fast, you're going slow. Brutal, tough, but toughness was required. I heard a story from Simon Sinek, who I admire. I really admire how he communicates things. And he said there was a bunch of military recruiters who came to a high school to present, what their opportunity was in their branch of the military here in the United States. Navy goes up and says, we're the Navy, we do this and we do that, and we're a great opportunity, and you can see the world, and really sells the Navy. Army guy comes up, says, that's all fine, but Army is good for this reason and this reason and this reason and this reason and this reason. Then the Marine. The Marine recruiter comes up. He does this. Nope. I don't think there's anybody in here that is capable of being a Marine, because it will require everything from you. It'll push you in ways you can't imagine. It'll cause you to do things that you never even thought possible. I don't think you have what it takes to be in my Marine Corps. If you think I'm wrong, I'll be in the back of the room. Who do you think had the longest line? The Marine. He wasn't selling. He was looking for a specific kind of person. Well, you know what I'm here to do this weekend? I'm looking for a specific kind of person. And some of you are meant to go to the top, and some of you aren't. I'm here to talk to the people who want to go to the top. I think there's 2 days in a career, 2 days in a life, a network marketer's life. The day they join, and the day they decide to go pro. The day they decide, I'm going to the top, period. The day they decide, regardless of excuses, regardless of other outside influences, I'm burning the boats behind me. I'm blowing up the bridge behind me. There is no plan B. None. Zero. I only have one plan. That's to get to the top. I'm going to get to the top, and I'm going to teach other people how to do the same thing. I'm going to be a professional, period, end of story. This weekend is for that group, for people who are, and some of you might have made the decision. I thought I made that decision like 5 times in my first 3.5 years, but I didn't really. That decision for me was made June 10th. June 10th of 1991, at an event, sitting in the room, and watching everybody go across stage again. And I said, you know what? And I made a decision. It was like there was a spotlight on my head. I made a decision. I'm going to become so good that they asked me to speak on that stage. I'm going to become so good that everybody wants to know how I did it. I'm going to become so good, not just in my head, because I was working full time, you understand? Not just in knowledge, but in application. I'm going to be so good at all of this. I'm going to let go of my expectations. I'm going to trade that for appreciation. I'm going to be grateful for what I have. I'm not going to expect anything from anybody else. I'm going to expect a lot from myself. And before, when I made the decision, when my electricity was turned off, I didn't know where to go. This time, the decision took on a different meaning because my decision was to become a professional, to learn it, to become so good at what's necessary to build a big business here that people would want to join my team even if I didn't ask them. They'd hear about me and they'd want to join my team. People on my team would take more action because they trusted me. I'm going to learn it. And literally, I cannot tell you one person who spoke at that convention that I was in. I cannot tell you one talk. I cannot even tell you what was happening on any of the stage. I can't tell you anything. I don't remember any of it. What I remember was the decision and what I did after that decision. I went to be able to put together a playbook. What is the roadmap in order to be able to really do this right? And I asked and I interviewed and I was like an investigator for the rest of the weekend to find out from the most successful people in the business what exactly they did. I found 6 things. I'm going to give you those 6 things. You've got to be able to master sales. You have to be able to master sales, not just in theory. And if with every one of these, I want you to think about a couple things. You have to learn it. And here's when we know you've learned it. Evidence. Show us the results, not head knowledge. You haven't learned it just because you understand it. You learn it when you're actually getting the results from doing it. Okay, there's a difference. Some of you think, well, I know this. Show me your sales then. 2, teach it. Well, I know how to teach it. I'm good at teaching it. Okay, show me their sales then. Show me the evidence. You're so good at teaching. Oh, well, you know, those people are lazy. Okay, fine. Here's how we judge it. Results. And then 3rd, you got to learn to teach to teach. If you're going to have freedom and leverage, you got to teach your people to teach their people. So how do we know that you've done that? We have to look at your people's people. And are they selling? Learning, teaching, teaching to teach. All 3 of those things have to occur for mastery to show up. It's not just about you selling. Not in our business. That's just a job. So sales mastery. Okay, nothing happens unless we make a sale. Agreed, fine, done. Next, recruiting mastery. I was a recruiter my first 3.5 years, but I had no duplication. So guess what I needed to learn how to do? How to teach other people how to recruit. How to teach them to teach their people how to recruit. So I began searching for evidence in each one of these things. 3rd, big one, retention mastery. It's one thing to bring them in. It's another thing to keep them. We're not as good at keeping them as we are at bringing them in. We do a lot of damage to our business. We're going to talk about retention in the next session. We do a lot of damage to our business because we bring them in and we don't just take a few extra steps to keep them in a little bit longer. Retention mastery. Learn, teach, teach, teach. Next, duplication mastery. Can you figure out a system that you can create duplication within your organization? Systems, processes, problem solving. Can you diagnose where it's broken down in your organization, quickly go in and fix it so it gets back duplicating again? Duplication is very, very important if you're going to have leverage in our business. Number 5, presentation mastery. You want to really judge the quality of any organization? Show me how many great presenters are within that organization. Great. They can present. They could teach people to present. They could teach people to present. The number of presenters, like right now, good thing to think about, and we'll be asking these questions over the weekend. How many people on your team could you recommend to your company to do an opportunity presentation at your company convention? You'd be confident in them representing your entire team. How many do you have that could do that? Anybody willing to share? How many? 2? You've been around how long? 14 years. 2's not a good number. We got to grow that number. Who else willing to share? How many you have? About 20. Great. How much are you earning per year approximately? 200,000 a year? All right. So 20, 200,000. So if we want to get to 400,000, what do we need? How many more presenters do we need if it's the same number? Right? We need another 20. Can you affect that number? Yes. Can you improve as a presenter? Yes. I want you to think about all of these. How good are you at every one? Little scale of 1 to 10. How good are you at every one? And I want you to think in the filter of knowing it, teaching it, and teaching people to teach it. You combine those 3. And the answer, you should base your answer based upon your actual results in your organization, not based upon your knowledge in your head. Knowledge in your head is cheap. The results is what gets paid. So, presentation, and then finally, leadership. Leadership mastery. Developing leaders. Teaching people to teach. At the end of the day, it's the number of leaders that you have on your team that are going to make the biggest difference. You need to have thickness of skills. You need to have thickness of leaders. Some of you, and I say this with love, you've built your business because you built a great brand. Some of you. Some of you built this business with the force of your own personality. It's all on you. You're a big personality. Some of the biggest checks in network marketing are built on a person's personality. It's not built on thickness of this. You've got a lot of followers, not a lot of leaders. I'd like you to have both, right? People being developed, people developed, people developing others. Thickness. How many leaders do you have, kind of first generation to you? How many second generation? How many third generation? How many fourth generation? That can operate with or without you, will operate with or without you? These are the questions, okay? So I want you to pay attention to this because this playbook is what we're going through this whole weekend. Topic by topic by topic by topic by topic, okay? You might look at this as a problem. Here's what I would tell you. My belief, the bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. You solve this problem, solve these problems, you make as much as you can imagine. You just solve the personal knowledge problem, you get personal income. You solve the teaching problem, you get leveraged income. You teach to teach, you get a completely different level of income. So I want you to be thinking about all of this differently. This isn't about just equipping you. This is equipping you to equip your team. This is teaching you to teach others. I want you to start thinking in terms of legacy, of impact, of purpose, of meaning, of vision, not just of income. Because income comes and goes. Would you agree? It comes and goes. Income will come, it'll go. You can blame it on something. Oh, company can change the compensation plan. No, it's not the company changed the compensation plan or they changed the product. No. You didn't have the leaders to hold it. You didn't have the skills in your organization to hold it. You didn't have the mindset in your organization necessary to withstand the storms that are definitely always going to come. So this is about preparation for battle. This is about preparation for greatness. This is about preparation for leverage, okay? So when you're taking notes, I want you to take them differently than maybe you've taken them before. I want to empower every person watching from home to become world class at these 6 topics, okay? And teach other people how to do the same thing. So we're going to do a quick breakout session. Call it a 20-minute breakout, just 20 minutes. So what I'd love you to do, those of you at home, we're going to break you into groups of about 6 to 8 people, somewhere like that. Whoever's the most beautiful in your group, they get to be the captain. Okay? The most gorgeous person gets to be the captain of your group. And just make sure that everybody gets to share. I want you to share 2 things. Just in general, on these 6 topics, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on all 6 overall. In learning, teaching, and teaching to teach. Rate yourself on 1 to 10 if you just took it all as one big skill set. And question number 2, what I want you to share with your group, and those of you here in this room, get into groups of like 6 people. And the ugliest person in the room, you get to be the captain. No, I'm just kidding. We'll go with the longest hair. Whoever has the longest hair in the room gets to be the captain, okay? Make sure everybody shares, how would your business change if you increased your proficiency and skill set on these 6 areas? How would your business change in the next 12, 24, 36 months, okay? So we're going to just take 20 minutes, and then when we come back, I'm going to go through retention. We're going to go deep on how to master retention, how you can do it, how you can teach it, how you can teach other people to teach it, okay? So 20 minutes, put it on the clock, get in the group, play like a pro, and 20 minutes will bring you right back, okay? Everybody go.